Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. In the translation of that message, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? I am a Zimbabwean man, and where I am currently staying, please do not tell anyone or to shame anyone my phone numbers because I'm really even scared for my own life. This happened like when I was still back home in Zim. And then I ran away from Zim because of some of the challenges that I was facing in my life. But I am willing to correct the wrongs that I have done, but not meaning that I want to end up being in prison. I just want to help my relatives so that they won't suffer anymore. The way that they are suffering, it really pains me a lot. So I have been telling myself that before I die, at least I have to make a plan in order for my relatives to know that this is what I did, me and my friends that I used to move around with during the election season of 2008. So we were being used by another political party to punish the members of another political party if it happened that they shared the different views that were not allowed at that time. So we used to move around quite a lot and we used to get paid, and we did not even know who was paying us. All that we could get was money inside of envelopes, and the envelope will be written your name and you'll take the money. Enjoy. We were always drunk at all the times, always smoking weed at all the times. So weed and alcohol, that was what they would use whenever they wanted to control us. But it all started when I was only 9 years old, back in the village where I was born before we had moved to Harare. When I was 9 years old, there was this other old man from our village. This man, he was very cruel towards me and my friends. Whenever he wanted to beat you, or when he wanted your parents to beat you up, he would leave the gate to his garden wide open, knowing that maybe the goats that you will be heading, or your donkeys or the cows that you will be heading, will go into his garden and start to eat his vegetables, and he would go to your parents and he would force your parents to pay him. This is what he used to do, and everyone in the village just hated him. So one day he made sure that I was beaten by my parents. Then another day he caught us when we were busy stealing watermelons. As kids, we thought of a way to punish him, not knowing that this what we wanted to do. It was going to kill this man. One of my friends stole red poison, and after he had stolen red poison from his parents' house, we then went to the place where this man had his garden, and we waited for him in the bushes until he went out of the garden. He wanted to go into the bushes to relieve himself, and then we went to his garden and he had this other bottle that was full of maheu. We then poured the red poison into that plastic bottle that was full of the maheu that he was drinking, and we ran away. This man even saw us as we were leaving his garden, but he did not even know that this was what we had done. He chased us away, throwing stones at us, and we ran away. This man, he was later found dead in his garden. So everyone thought that since he had two wives, maybe one amongst his wife had put the poison in the maheu. Even the youngest one, she got arrested and she was released later on after she had been taken to prison, when it was found that she had not done such a thing. But no one knows to this very day that it was me and some of my friends, we did these things. When I was 17, my parents, that was when they left the village and they went with us to the city, where my father thought that he was going to get a job. But life was very difficult. In 2017, we started staying in a neighborhood that is called Waterfalls. I was 17 by that time, and my parents could not afford to pay the rent. Then there was this other place called Hopley Farm. that was where we started staying. So there was this other family, they had gotten a stand there in Hopley Farm, but they were waiting to build their house. So they had put some tenants there. It was our family and other families. So my parents, they were unable to pay even the rent money. And then that was when we returned back to the village. Whilst I was in the village, I was then invited by this other guy that I used to move around with. And this man, he was the one who had made me to join politics, supporting one particular party. And he told me that there was a job that we were supposed to do in preparation for the 2008 elections. So I returned back to Harare, and then I was taken to this other man whom I'll call Comrade T. So this Comrade T used to work with another minister. This minister, if he did not like you, he would send his boys, me and other people that were being recruited by Comrade T, and we will come and we will deal with you. So this Comrade T, he had this other girlfriend of his, and this woman was a married woman. The woman was married to a Zambian man. This man had ran away from Zambia and was staying in our country. He had even gotten a Zimbabwean ID. And then that was when they went to the plot where he was staying with his wife and kids. They told him that he was supposed to leave everything and to walk away, for this was a forced divorce. This man, they took away everything from him, all of his cars, the money, the piece of land, all the things that he owned. He only got out of that house with only a small bag that had a few of his clothes. So then that was when that man gave us a pickup truck that we were using. This truck, it was rebranded with a political party's stickers all over that truck that we were using. So we would go around with that truck and we will beat up people. Then that was when we were told that we were going to be given money at all the times. So this was a salary that we were going to be earning just to make sure that we beat people. We were always drunk. We were always high on weed because we never lacked money at all. Our mission was to make sure that we go into different beer halls where we would pretend as if we are drinking, and then we will start a conversation with you, just wanting to know what is it that you think about the president. Since a lot of people, they were saying that Robert Mugabe was too old, therefore he was supposed to step down. So we did not want people to discuss about that. That is why we were being paid to beat people. And amongst all of the people that we used to beat, there is a man that I can never forget, a man who was called Brighton, a man that we murdered in cold blood, and a man that has brought me to your platform because I keep on seeing his ghost and he's making my whole family to suffer. And I want this man to just rest and to leave me in peace because I have suffered for a very long time. This man, I cannot forget him because of the things that we did to him. This man, he was a driver. He was working there in South Africa. And when we met at this other beer hall in Highfields, he had just returned back from Johannesburg. He came and he was driving a 323 with a South African number plate. And this man, he thought that he was much wiser than everyone who was at that beer hall. And he said that he thought that Robert Mugabe was supposed to retire because he was too old. And he kept on talking about the things that he had experienced in South Africa and which was not okay. We then called Comrade T, who was also in the neighborhood. He came and he pretended as if he was just having a normal political debate with him. He started asking him a lot of questions like, so do you think that South Africa is better than Zim? And he started to compare Zimbabwe with South Africa. He said that even a person that stays in a shack in South Africa will have electricity, even a person who is in the villages will have clean running water. But here in our country, the things that are happening, they are not okay. Someone who stays in the village is even surprised when they come to Harare that there are people that use electricity. We need to be like South Africa. So we said that this man, he was bringing and spreading toxic ideas, and he was not supposed to keep on doing that. Then the comrade went and he reported the matter to the minister that he was working for, and an order was given that this man, he was supposed to vanish from the face of the earth because he was a toxic nobody who was making people to think about things that they were not supposed to think about. So we started following this man, and we followed him from Harare going to his village where he was staying. And then when he returned back to Harare to visit his auntie, we were in the village, in his village. We broke into his home. We wanted to kill his wife. If we had managed to kill his wife, this man, maybe he might have been alive to this very day, because we just wanted to send him a warning to stop thinking about the things that he was thinking, telling people to think out of the box and not to see things as if they were normal, not having running water as if it is normal. It was your right to have clean running water as well as electricity, even if you stay in the most remote village. So this man, he was unfortunate because his wife escaped before we could catch up with him. Then that was when we took the petrol that we had and we set his house on fire. His parents, we did beat them up. It is just that they were quite old. We did not beat them too much. And then that was when we went to his cattle kraal. He only had 3 cows, and then we burnt them alive. We entered into the cattle kraal and we poured the petrol that we had on all the cows. 2 of them died because whenever they tried to leave the kraal, we'll beat them up. Only 1 did not die. Then we left the village. We spoke with the village headman about this issue, and we told them that this man, him and his parents, they were supposed to be kicked out of the village where they were going to stay. We did not even care. We returned back to Harare. This man, we heard that he was hiding at his friend's house in an area that is called Rua. After we had managed to catch him, we did not even drive very far from Rua. So when you are in Rua, there is this other forest. We went with him into that forest, and then we had a big 200-liter metallic drum that was waiting for him. We gathered firewood and we started a fire. We poured the water. When we poured the water, we boiled the water until we saw that the water was really boiling. That was when we said, man, now it is your time to get into this big drum. He cried and he screamed and he begged. He was like, Ndinemana, meaning that I have a child. Please feel sorry for me. I have a wife. Please feel sorry for me. We told him that it was his time. He was supposed to get inside that big drum. So we grabbed him and we threw him into that drum that was full of boiling water. The sound that he let out when we threw him into that big drum that was full of boiling water, he screamed so hard, so much that we were even shocked. But we quickly reminded ourselves of the job that we were supposed to do. Brother Nashi, when a person is boiling, even the skin will be ripped off from the bone. That is what I saw. It was quite terrible. You could not look at this man twice. We boiled him for only about 2 minutes. He was dead. That was when Comrade T congratulated us and gave us, it is not a lot of money that we were given. We were only given 1,000 rands, each one of us, not even US dollars. We were paid in rands. And then that was when we were told to drive with this body. We were supposed to go to this other farm. We then went to that farm. Deep in the farm, there was a dam there. So early in the morning, we took Brighton's body and we dumped it into that dam and we returned back. So, Brother Nash, when we returned back, we thought that we were just going to continue like everything was normal. But then what happened that same year in November 2008, that was when we were told that the minister that we were working for, but we were working for him under this comrade T, his daughter, she was just 20. I'll call her Tariro. And one night she started screaming. She started to lose her mind and she was running around naked. She was shouting, Murukundibika, 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 Murukundibika. It means you are cooking me, you are cooking me. Please let me out because it is too hot. Please get me out so that I can go and tell my relatives that these men, what they have done to me is very painful. Please let me out. My wife, she is going up and down, yet she does not even know that her husband is dead. Please let me out. So this girl, as she was screaming, she was sounding as if it was Brighton. And then that was when Comrade Tim came and collected me. At that time, I had returned back to the village. I was so broke and I was happy. When I saw Comrade T, I was like, thanks God, this man is back. Now I can return back to the city and continue doing what we were always doing, because I was so much addicted into prostitutes. That 1,000 rands that was given to me, I bought alcohol, weed, and prostitutes. It was all finished in a day. So when he came to collect me, when we were returning back to Harare, that was when he told me that the spirit of Brighton was fighting against the minister and something was supposed to be done. We finally arrived in Harare and there were 7 of us who met at Brighton. It was me, Fungai, this other guy whom we used to call Booster, Shane, Darlington, and 2 new guys that I don't remember their names anymore. They were still new in our syndicate. These guys, they later ran to South Africa soon after this incident. So then that was when we were told that we needed spiritual cleansing. Us, the 7 of us, Comrade Tim and the minister, we all left for Mozambique. Even the minister did not have a passport because we were told that this was supposed to be done in secret. There was no one who was supposed to even know that the minister's daughter was running mad. So everything was just a secret. We stayed there in Mozambique for 3 weeks whilst we were being treated by that traditional healer. And then the minister returned back to Zim and we stayed a little bit longer in Mozambique. So for 3 weeks, we were forbidden to eat meat that had salt. We were forbidden to bath ourselves using soap. And what used to happen is that each and every day at around 3 p.m., because the minister, he was staying at this other hotel, so he would come early in the morning, spend the whole day with us with the traditional healer. Then at night, he would go and sleep in the hotel. Just before he would have left to go to the hotel, he would be given a bucket that would be full of water and he was supposed to bath himself. After bathing himself, he would be given 20 eggs and he had to smash those eggs into the bucket that will be empty and he will start to bath himself using the eggs. And after that, he had to go without wiping himself. And then the comrade team was supposed to bath using the same water that the minister had bathed himself using, and he would be given 20 eggs and he was supposed to wash himself using those eggs. And then as for me and those boys, early in the morning before sunrise, we had to wake up and we will take that water that the minister and the comrade would have bathed themselves with, and we had to bath ourselves. So the minister and the comrade, later on, they would be given milk to wash themselves using that milk. There is this other plant, it looks like an onion. This traditional healer used to cut it and put it in that bucket, and we were supposed to bath ourselves. It used to sting us so bad and we were told not to scratch ourselves. We did not know that this was not just a cleansing ceremony, but these two people, what they were doing was that since we had all participated in the murder of Brighton, but they did not want his spirit to come after them, to come after their children or their bloodlines, but they wanted Brighton to come after us. That is what is happening currently. That is why I am saying that we need help. We returned back to Zim. This was in January 2008, and we were taken to the minister's house where we were going to be given some money. One will think that we were given a lot of money, but the money that I was given, it was only 200 and something US dollars. Some of these guys, they were only given 100 and something US dollars, including those ones that ran and went to South Africa. So when we met the minister's daughter, if someone had not told us that she had once gone mad, we were not going to believe it, because she was so calm and she was even smiling. So then that was when I returned back to the village. I kept on working. Years later, when I was in a foreign country, I went to church. It was a white garment church. That was when one prophet said, I can see you, what you did, Manzi Baba. When you were still in Zim, there is this other man that is called Brighton. Brighton is telling me that he has been looking for you and now he has found you. What did you do, man? And then that was when I knew that it was over for me. This prophet, he then gave me some holy prayers to use so that Brighton can forgive me. But the problem is that ever since that day, I have been suffering. I really do not know what am I supposed to do. All of my relatives, from the time when one of my sister who was staying in South Africa died after she had been stabbed in a very terrible way, all of my relatives that have passed away ever since that time, they have all been stabbed to death. It all started with my sister who was staying and working in South Africa. One day, a boss told her that she would be working overtime. So when she finished working, she then got into this taxi that took her back to the location. When she was getting off from that taxi, that was when two young men came and they grabbed her handbag, including the phone. They asked her why she had no money. And one of those boys stabbed my sister on the neck. She died instantly. And after that, everyone that has died in the family, they have all been stabbed to death. As I am speaking with you, I have a cousin, brother of mine, whom we recently buried. He was staying there in South Africa. He was dating a South African woman. He then went to a tavern with that South African woman. Whilst they were drinking their alcohol, it was said that the woman's ex-boyfriend went to them and said, you cannot be with this foreign guy, you are supposed to be with me. And then that was when my cousin brother got up and started fighting with that South African guy. He then pulled out his knife, and some people in that tavern said, you are a foreigner, but here you are holding a knife against a South African. And then that was when one just came and stabbed my brother. He died instantly. This has been happening over and over again. As for the minister, as I'm speaking with you, this minister was buried at Heroes Acre. As for Comrade Tim, he passed away. So I need advice. Should I go and speak with Comrade T's family to tell them that this is what we were sent to do? I am scared. I can never show my face in public because I don't know who will be sent to hunt for me. I just need advice. Should I tell my family first that the reason as to why people are dying in this way in our family, it is all because of me. It is because of the things that I did. When you post my story, please tell me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our brother right there. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. If you have any confession that you wish to share with us, please do not hesitate to share the confession.